A very good morning to all of you. Let's continue our chapter freedom. So in our last class we have discussed or we have learned the simple answer, okay, for what is freedom. So the answer is absence of constraint. Constraints means a restriction. If there is no restriction, then that is called freedom. Okay, but the freedom, when one have freedom, then there should be certain restrictions also, right? Restrictions are very important. Or there are certain types of restrictions. Sometimes restrictions restrictions on freedom of individual may come from domination and external control, or such restrictions may be imposed by force, or they may be imposed by the government through laws which embody the power of the rulers over the people and which may have the backing of force. So restrictions, there are different kinds of restrictions. Sometimes the restrictions which your parents have, right? Sometimes government impose certain restrictions. How did the government impose? Through law. If you break that law, that means you are utilizing your freedom, but you will have punishment also. So the law which has been imposed by the government is called the constraint or the restriction on freedom. Okay, everyone needed freedom, but freedom always comes with constraint, always comes with restriction. If there is because we live in a world where if there is no constraint, then what will happen? If there is no restriction, then the society would descend. Society would fall into chaos. There will be chaos. Everyone wanted to utilize their freedom. There will be no one is afraid of anything, right? If there is no law, if there is no certain things which the people sometimes, like for example, I am free. I am an adult. I am an individual. I am free. I want to go to that house and bring certain things from others' house. That is my freedom. But will I be allowed to do that? No, I'm not allowed to do that, because government has imposed certain laws. And according to that law, if I went to other people's house and bring something, that means the government will give me punishment. I am utilizing my freedom in a wrong way. So in order to have a peaceful society, okay, the government, person, individual themselves have imposed certain restrictions, and restrictions are very important in any freedom. Okay, now the harm principle. What is harm principle? If you harm other people while utilizing your freedom, will that be okay? No, that is not okay. You cannot harm other people. If you harm the other people, that means the constraint, whatever laws are there, you are breaking that laws. Okay, so that is called harm principle. And this harm principle has been beautifully discussed by one of the philosopher. His name is John Stuart Mill. He is the name of his essay is Liberty, on liberty. Okay, the name of his essay is Liberty. In this on liberty, he has discussed the harm principle. What is harm principle? According to him, the people, according to him, there are two distinctions. Okay, there are important distinction. He introduced two important distinction, that is self-regarding action and other regarding actions. Self-regarding actions, if you do some things and if you have a consequences for yourself only or for an individual only, that is called self-regarding action. And if the person do something and that have a consequences result for others, that is called other regarding actions. So it is very important to understand that for example, let me give you an example. I'll do what I like, or how does it concern you? if it does not affect you? If I am doing something and nothing is affecting you, whatever I am doing, that is affecting me only. So is there any harm to do something? No, there is no harm, because my whatever I am doing, that hasn't been affected you in any way. So that does not, you cannot say that I am breaking certain restriction or I am breaking certain constraint, because whatever I am doing, the consequences is only for me, not for the others. Okay, so in that case it is okay to utilize your freedom with constraint. But in some cases, okay, in some cases, if there is external interference, or if I'm doing something and the consequences is with the other one, like for example, if I beat you, as a teacher we do not have the right to beat any student in the class, right? But though I'm a teacher and you are a student, and if you do something and if I beat you, okay, you cannot say anything, right? But if I beat you and if you suffer from guiltiness, or sometimes you will be ashamed in front of your friends, right? So in that case I am utilizing my freedom, but whatever I'm doing in my freedom, that is affecting you, that have a consequences in you. That means I am doing wrong, because I am giving a bad consequences to other. So that is called other regarding actions, and also called the harm principle. Okay, so we have to be very, very careful while utilizing our freedom, and it is very, very important to have constraint or restriction in any freedom. Okay, it is a state which constrain a person from acting in a way that cause harm to someone else. Constraints, whatever restriction are there, that will stop a person to cause any harm to any other people. Constraining action by force of law should only happen when other restricting action causes serious harm to definite individual. Okay, hate campaign cause serious harm to the freedom of others. While utilizing your freedom without restriction or with restriction, you have to be very, very careful that whether your action, whatever you are doing, is affecting other people or you are giving harm to other people or not. If something is happening in your life and you are utilizing your freedom, and while utilizing your freedom you are giving certain harm to the other person, or like for example in your family also you have certain restriction, right? Your parents have imposed a certain restriction on you, like for example you have to enter your house within 6 p.m, not beyond that. That is called one of the restriction. You have the freedom to roam around till 6 p.m, but you have to enter your house within 6. Sometimes in some cases you're busy with your friends and you're roaming around and you forgot the time, okay, and you're entering your house at 7. You're not receiving your phone and you are outside till 7. What will happen? Your parents will become worried, all the family members. So you are in utilizing your freedom in by any chance you are giving certain harm or you are having certain consequences in your family, right? So is that good or bad? That is obviously bad, because your action is harming other. You are utilizing your freedom, but your action is harming other. So that type of freedom, this is the reason the constraints or the restriction has been imposed everywhere in every freedom. by the government, by the parents, by the family, or by the school authority, everywhere. And it is very, very important to have restriction while utilizing freedom. If there is no restriction, if there is no constraint, that means the society will enter into a chaos. Everyone will do whatever they wanted to do, right? If, even the person will kill other person because there was no restriction. He can kill, but there is certain restriction imposed by the government, and the people are afraid of that restriction. That is the reason no one can kill another person. It's all because of restriction or the harm principle. So is it clear or not? In our next class we'll discuss about negative and positive liberty. What is negative liberty and what is positive liberty? Liberty means freedom. Okay, till then, take care.